So we started with introduction to data science and analytics. We talk about the different definitions we have for data science. Then the different fancy definitions people give data science. Then the process, data analytic process, you collect the data, you process the data, you build your model, then evaluate the model. Then we talk about different tools used for data science. The languages, we have Python, we have R, we have SQL, JavaScript, Java, MATLAB, C, C++. Then there are different libraries we can make use of in Python. We have NumPy, Pandas, SciPy, SciPy Scientific Python, then Scikit-learn, Matplotlib, Seaborn, PyTorch. These two, they are for data visualization. Then we have this two for deep learning. Then we have Colab, it's an online fashion for Jupyter Notebook. Then we have GitHub, this is like a portfolio for documentation of code. Then this Stack Overflow to check codes, to check other people's work and to find, like, to fix error. Then we discussed about dashboard, how to prepare dashboard. You can use Excel for dashboard. You can use Tableau, you can use Power BI. Please, can you hear me, please? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
So why we choose Python? Because Python is very simple. It's a simple programming language that is common to normal language you speak, like print hello world, then we have it printed on the screen. Another thing is an open source. A lot of people are contributing to it, so it makes it more robust, like a lot of things going on. Then we talked about application of data science in health. We use it for medical diagnosis, drug discovery. In finance, we also use it for fraud detection, then loan default. Fraud detection is to detect if a particular transaction is going to be fraudulent or not. Then loan default to check, to predict if someone is going to default a loan or not. Default simply means the person not paying the loan back. Then for education program, you can build a model that predicts if a student is going to complete a program or not. For example, this class we are taking now, we can predict based on past data if a particular student is going to finish the class with us or not. Then we have natural language processing. These chatbots, we see this on most websites. Like, do you want to chat with us? What do you need? You send a message, then you get instant response. We have virtual assistants, we have speech recognition. This is like Google Translate. Then we have self-driving cars. Then gaming, you have AR, VR. Then for the Python for data science, I divided the class into two. The first one will be for Python fundamentals. Then the second part will be for Python for data science and analytics. And for the Python for data science, for the Python fundamentals, we started with, okay, that's our second class, day 2. So this, when we Python for the Python fundamental, so we started by printing hello world. Then this just write print. Then anything you want to print, you put it in the parentheses. Then we have hello world. Then how to declare a variable, the rules governing guiding the naming of a variable. Like you cannot start with number. Then I think you can start with underscore. And the necessity of saving your variable in the variable name that's conforming to your variable. For example, you want to score, then you store it in bag. You name your variable bag, then you put 34. That doesn't sound reasonable. Although the syntax is correct, but to someone else reading the code, it doesn't sound well. So those are and we have different data types. The 4 major data types we have. These are the integer, the number data type without decimal. Then we have the float, number data type with decimal. Then we have string. These are character or alphabet. Then remember, if you put how do you recognize a string is if it is in quotation, either single quotes or double quotes. For example, you put number 22.9 in quotation, automatically it is a string. And we have Boolean. Boolean is just true or false. And the true, you write T with capital letter, F with capital letter. That's mean the first letters of those two must be written in title case. Yeah, title case means that you are starting the first one with uppercase. So these are the different types we have in my school. This is a sentence string. Then we have the Boolean value. Then we have the operators in Python. These are just like normal operators we have. Then we have arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators, they are the plus, the minus, division, subtraction we have. So these are the some of the codes. Then we have this percentage. This percentage is remainder. Remainder, for example, we divide 7 by 3. What will remain is 1. And we the same thing, 12 divided by 5. We know 5 goes in 10 two times. Then we have the 2. It remains 2. This is the 2 that remain. That's the essence of the percentage is modulo. Then we have double division. This sign is called floor division or modulo. Floor division or modulo. So floor division means we don't need the remainder, just give us the actual value, like the first value. For example, if the answer is 3.5, we don't need the 0.5, just give us the 3. Is that right? I don't think so. Yeah, that's correct. Then 72 divided by 2, 39. We don't need the point that might be after the answer. Then we have multiple assignment, whereby you assign the multiple variable on a single line. We have score 78, class S3, then color is green. One thing you should note about this is that the first variable name here, it goes with the first value we have here. If you put score and you have the first variable here as green, your score will be green will be saved as your score. So you need to be very careful and know what you are doing when you are doing multiple assignments. Then we have string concatenation, whereby you do plus. Instead of, we know we are the plus for other addition, subtraction, but for string, it's concatenate. That means it's add up the text. By default, there won't be any space between this, but since we need space, we need to put plus space. This is the space we have, a white space in between the two. So this, I have to write a comment in Python. You start with hash. A single hash is enough. This, you just write it like this, then you have the comments. And we talk about multi-line comments. This is how to write multi-line comment. Although some of the people, like someone told me that there is no multi-line comment in Python. This is the way we write multi-line comment. Although it's more of a doc string, like documentation string, but you can still call it a comment. So another thing, if you are multiplying a string by an integer, it's going to print the string, the number of times you multiply it by it. For example, this bag multiplied by 100 is going to print back 100 times for us. Then we have Boolean value. Boolean value is just greater than, less than, equals to. So we have 73 is greater than or equals to 9. That's true. Then 78 equals to 45. That's false. Then I mentioned something about Python being a case-sensitive programming language. This U with capital letter is different from U with Y with small letter, so it's false. Then I tried it with the same U here and this one. The two of them are the same, so we have true. Then this is a kind of logic. This will compare. It will first evaluate what we have at this side, then evaluate the other thing we have at this side, then we now take this into consideration. This will be the last action. First, evaluate this separately, then evaluate this separately, then combine the results from the two of them together with this OR. So that's that about that. For the second day, for the day 3. So we talk, okay, these are the things I forgot to mention in the previous class. Raised to power. If you want to do raised to power, instead of using 1 star, which stands for multiplication, you use double star, double asterisk. So that's raised to power. 7 raised to power 2 is 49, 2 raised to power 2 is 4. Then I talked about variable casting. Variable casting is just converting from one variable to another. For example, number is 87. I check the type, I see that it's an integer. Then I want to convert it to float. Float, this is how to cast. You first type the data type, then parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we type the value you want. Since we want to cast this number into float, so we have number float. Then we check the data type is now float instead of the integer we have. This float too, you check the type is a float, then B is int of A. Our A is what? Our A is float. Then we convert it back to integer. We have our integer. Then we have C. Since it is in quotes, in quotation mark, it is a string. This is the data type. Since it's a number data type, we can change it to integer. That's what I did here. Int C is now integer, now from string to integer. So that's how we do casting. So I mentioned something that you cannot cast string into integer because it's not possible to convert John to 1, 2, 3. So that's why we have the error here. So it's not possible. Then I talk about string. This is a single-line string, then multi-line string. It's just like multi-line comments. Having your string on more than one line. If you print it out, you are going to see it on separate lines as you've written it. So the next thing I talk about indexing. Indexing is just like accessing the character or element of a variable. For example, the greet variable is hello, and I said something that indexing in Python start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. If you want to access this age, you access it with hello 0. If you want to access this e, you access it with greet 1. If you want to access this l, you count it 0, 1, 2, 3. So you access it with 3. And there's something called negative indexing in Python. Negative indexing means we are starting from the last element. So if you write -1, it's going to give you the last element. -2, second will be that. -3, and so on and so forth. Then another thing is slicing. Slicing is getting a range of value from a variable. For example, we need, let's say we need we need this 2L at the middle. 2L at the middle. But we want to slice, the age is 0, E is 1. So we are starting from 2. 1L is 3. By slicing, we need to include one more number greater than the last number we are interested in. For example, this is 0, 1, 2, 3. We are interested in the second L, that's 3. Then we need to include 4, 0, so that it can stop on this fourth element. So that's that about that. Then you can print each of the value in a list by looping through with a for loop. For letter in greet print letter, that means we ask the program to print each of the letter in the variable. Then these are the methods we can apply on string. Greet.index age. For the age, what is the index of age? 0. That means age is the first element and the index is 0. Then dot upper, we can count the number of L we have, which is 2. Greet.upper, it convert our variable to uppercase, lower to lowercase, title to title case, swap case. Swap case, the one that was lower before it will convert, that was lower, it will convert it to upper, the upper will be converted to lower. That's swap case. Then replace, we can change a letter by another. So we can split it, we can concatenate. So that's that about string. Then we talk about looping through a variable. So this is, we want to print in a range. When I was talking about range, it takes in by default, it's require one compulsory argument, which is the stopping. By default, anything you put will be taken as the stopping point by default. The only required argument is just the stopping point. But if you want to make it more elaborate, you can put 3, which is the starting point, then 100, the stopping point, then the last parameter is just the step. That means you are jumping 3 steps per output. For example, we are starting with this 3, then 3 after 3 is 6, 3 after 6 is 9, till we have 100. And mind you, the last number, the stopping point, this 100 will not be included. So we'll be stopping at 99. If you want the last number to be included, you must add 1 to it. That will be 101. So we talk about if statement as well. If statement is like a condition. If something, for example, if a student, okay, if you are in SS3, let's say print you are in senior class, else you are in junior class. That means automatically if you are not in senior class, you will be in junior class. So that's the function of if. It's just like a condition. For example, we set the password as pass here. If password is equals to pass, tell the person that access granted. So we try to modify this code by making use of password input something. If the password is pass granted, else elif, if we use elif too, elif where we are using 2 passwords. The first one is pass, the second one is pass. Any other thing different from these 2 is access denied. So that's about that. Do we have any question yet? Or we should move on?
Let's move on.
So for the fourth day, we started with, and there was something I mentioned about day three. That's the break statements, whereby you want, maybe you have a list of color. I think we discussed it in the list. Let me check. Is there something like that? Break. Okay, this is, we talk about this. So this loop is just looping through. Like for example, you have oranges in a basket, then you want to check, you want to loop through the basket and make sure you check every orange present in the basket. That's the function of the loop. You to loop through something to check through each and every one of them. And we have the if statement. If is a condition statement. If this, just like normal English, if this is this, do this, otherwise do something else. Someone said I removed that. I didn't do that. Please try to join again. I did not remove anybody. So this is a list. To this square bracket is used to denote a list. This square bracket, this is the starting point. Then this is the opening square bracket. This is the opening one. You can see the one here. Then this is the closing square bracket. And a list can contain elements of different data type. For example, this is an integer. The first three, they are integer. Then they have floats. Then we have a string. Then we have Boolean value. So there are elements of different data types. So to access the element of a list, you start is just like normal indexing. The first one will be 0. If you want to access 2, then 0. To access the last element, 1. Then if you want to access a range, 3.3 to 6, that means 0, 1, 2, 3. It's going to start from this 34.5, then it will stop at 5, since the last value we have here is 6. So it's going to stop at 5. Then to loop through a list, we just say for item in my item, print my item. Then we have a for statement here to add just like a function to, like, this is, we have a list of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we declare our sum variable to be equal to 0 because we want to make sure we add every number we have in the list. Initially, at the beginning, when we've not added anything, our sum will be equal to 0. That's the starting point. That's why I declare sum as 0 here. Then I will not write a code that for number in number, for each number in this number list, sum is equals to sum, the previous, this sum, the new sum now is equals to the previous sum, which is what I have here, plus the number, the first element, like for example, the first number will be the first time the loops run, it is going to add the first element, then the second time the second element. So we have all the elements added together, then we are going to have the print. Then it will print out the sum of all the numbers in the list. So this is another example for a range. This is the starting point. By default, a range will always start from 0 by default, but we can try to modify it. This one we are starting from 1, then we is stopping at 20. But mind you, as I've said earlier, the last number will not be included. If you want this 20 to be printed, that means you are going to put 21, and you can include the third parameter, which is the step. If you want it to be skipping 2 steps, like to be jumping 2 steps, then you put 2. So I talked about break, pass, continue. For example, we use break. If you have a list of items, then you want to be sure, you want to check if you have red in it or not. If there is red, since you see what you need, you press break, then you break out of the loop. Continue mean to skip. The difference between break and continue: break will stop the loop entirely when you get to the particular element, but continue will skip the particular element and continue with others. That's the major difference between the two. Then the pass elements, just like a neutral. For example, you don't really know what to put after you write your for, because if you write this line, you can't just leave it like this and not include a statement after it like this. So you need to put it. It will throw an error. So you need to put something. If you don't know what to put, and maybe you don't want to put anything, and you still want the code to run, that's where you put pass to pass the code. You won't see any error and you will not see any output. There are a lot of methods you can apply on your list. You can it will sort the list by alphabetically, like BGR. Then you can, I've talked about break continue. You can append, you can add a new item to the list. For example, we did not have pop initially, then I appended pop here. Then you can remove a particular element. You can remove by default. If you are using remove, you name the item you want to remove. But pop, by default, it pops out the last element added to the list. And you can also use pop to specify the index of the element you want to remove. For example, color.pop2 is going to pop what? White, because this is 0, 1, 2. This is to this 2 index. So color.pop2 is going to pop white. Then we check the color again. We see that the white color has been removed. Then to clear the list, we clear the list. That means we removed all the elements in the list, but we still have our list. Just like you have a bucket of water, clear is that you will pour out all the water in the bucket, but you still have your bucket. Then if you delete color, that means the water, the bucket, you delete everything. So tuple is also like a list. To denote a tuple, instead of using the square bracket, this square bracket, we make use of parentheses. This is parentheses. So we make use of this. And the difference between tuple and list, you cannot modify a tuple. You can't add elements, you can't remove element from it. So that's the essence of a tuple. Then, okay, we did something here, like you ask a student what is your score. Then, but don't forget, by default, with this input function, anything you enter will be stored as a string variable. But we know that score is always in number, so we need to first convert it to integer. Then we check if score is greater than 70. Tell the student that your grade is A. Elif. So we have if statement, we have else statement. If it's okay, if this thing is true, do this. The else is otherwise. If the first condition is not true, otherwise do this, do something else. But in between this if and else, we can have as many elif as we want. If there are many conditions we want to test, we can have as many elif as we want. For example, this one is considering another person that might score 50. Okay, don't fail any person that doesn't score up to 70. If the score is still between 50 and 70, just give the person B. Do not fail them. So that's why we have the elif. You can have as many elif as you want. You can have 40, 30, you can have it like that. This is the basis we use for I think the second task. So we have set. Set is like list tuple, but the difference between set and others is that set, it only contains unique values. For example, in my list, I can have 2 bags. For example, I say bag. I can have 2, 2, 3, 3, 10, 10, 10, 10. I can have as many 10 as I want. But set, it only takes in unique value. For example, here I have red. Then I have 2, 2. But when I check my list, okay, when I check my list, I have 2 red. I have 2 red. Then I have 2. As I have it in the list, I have it. But the same thing for tuple as well. Red, 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 red. But for set, despite having the same data, I pass in the same data into my set, but it only gives me the unique values. You can see, and it is ordered. So it cannot be indexed. It is ordered. So, and to write a set, you introduce this curly bracket. A set as well. So this is a kind of if statement. If password is do this, print password granted. Are we getting it? Hello.
No, well, we too.
Yeah, we too.
So I need someone to tell me. I need someone to tell me the difference between Python. Okay, there are many questions. The first, I need someone to tell me, like, the kind of brackets you use for a list, a tuple, and a set. Hello.
Hello, for a list. Can you hear me?
Yes.
For a list, we use square brackets.
Okay.
Then for tuple, we use the normal parentheses.
Okay.
Then for set, we use curly braces.
Okay.
Curly
Any other
brackets.
person to tell us other differences we have between tuple, list, and sets? Okay, let's say let's talk about like in why talking about duplicate values. Can anyone tell us the difference? Why taking duplicate values into consideration?
For the set,
Okay.
Hello.
okay. For the set, in case of the duplicate value for the list and tuple, you can for the list actually it can bring out the different the same data's variable inside the set. It can bring it out, but for the
Multiple
set,
times.
yes, multiple times. But for the set, it can only bring it once. As in the data will only appear once.
Okay, another difference is that you can index a list, you can index a tuple, but you cannot index a set because it is ordered. Do you get that? Hello?
Yes, we're with you.
Someone is saying something.
We got what you said.
Okay. So the fourth data type that you can like it can contain multiple elements, like array of elements, which is collection of elements is the dictionary. I said dictionary is just like our normal dictionary. The key to value pair. For example, you want to search for bag, you go to the B alphabet, then A. In front of it, you will see the definition of the bag. The keyword will be the BAG. Then the value will be any definition you see in front of the bag. So that's okay. I did something here. For example, you want to this is a nested list. For example, you have a list inside another list. Tunde Bola. We have this is the first element, the second element, the third element. Then the fourth element is everything from here to this place. Then we have the fifth element. Inside the fourth element, we still have another element. This is the fourth element in the fourth element, the second element in the fourth element, the third element in the fourth element. Then we have the fourth element in the fourth element. Inside that fourth element, we still have a list of two elements as well. So to index it, I think we discussed that in lists. To index this, we just call it out. Okay, this third is telling us about the third element, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. This is the third element. Then inside that third element, its third element, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. So we have these three. Then we want to print the second element with it has index 1. So if we need water, instead of putting 1, we just change this one to 0. So that's nested list. So this is a dictionary. Student key value pair. We have the name, the school, the department, and the age. So the name is Ahmad, the school is your department microbiology. This the first one. And one difference for the dictionary and set, we use the same curly brackets. The difference is that this one is a key, dictionary is a key value pair, whereas the set is not. So you can check the key. These are the keys we have in the dictionary. Then these are the values we have in the dictionary. Then you can add to it. For example, we did not have the relationship of the student here. Then we add it here that, okay, the student is single. Then we check our dictionary. We see that we have single now. And you should note that dictionary is ordered, but it is in alphabetical order: age, department, and relationship, then school. Then you can another way you can add, this is the first way you can add, put relationship, then put the value. Another one is to use update, then you put the gender, then the value. This is the key, then this is the value. So another thing you can change, like you can update. For example, we got to know that Ahmad has gotten married, so we change it from single to married. Then we check our dictionary, you see that, oh, he's married now. Then we can check if a particular key is in a dictionary. GP in dictionary, it gives us false. That means it's not there. Then pop gender. We want to remove gender. So we pop it. We don't have gender here again. Then another thing, if we use pop item by default, it is going to remove the last element that was added to the dictionary. For example, if you remember very well, this is the last thing we added, the relationship of the student. So pop will remove the relationship, the key and the value, it will remove the two. Then we check our dictionary, we see that the relationship is no more there. Then we clear our dictionary. Just as this is the clear here is just like the clear we have in list. It's clear the values in the dictionary, but the dictionary still exists. So to clear everything, including the dictionary, we use the delete key. So I use the dict, I delete the dictionary, then I try to check it. I don't have it again. That means I've deleted it. And you can look through element of a dictionary. You can look through the value. Ahmad School, no, you can look through the key, name, school, department, age. Then you can look through the two combined. For key value in dict.item, print key, then put this at the, we talked about concatenation initially, you use plus, then put this colon in the middle, then print value with it. So for the key value, I talked about this thing. It's not necessary you use key value, but to make it meaningful, that's why we use key value. You can use X, Y, you can use anything. Well, one thing you should note, we have value here, we have keys here, then here we have items. Item is the combination of the key and the values. Then how to copy, this is dictionary.copy, this one way, this is another way of copying the elements. Here we talk about different packages we have in Python, the math package, and if you want to check, package are just like, package are, for example, we have different packages in Python. Math is a package, and inside it, it can have as many modules as possible. Inside the math package, we have cosine, arccosine, arcsine, log, tan, pi, all of that. So we find the square root of 9. This is one of the modules in the package, in the math package. Can anyone tell me the relationship between this math and the square root, SQRT? Anyone? Hello? Hello?
Hello, I didn't get the question.
Can anyone tell me the relationship between these two? The package and the module inside it.
The package is the math and the module is the square.
Square root.
And like the relationship between them.
And the relationship is that the square is inside the math.
Yes, exactly. The relationship is like a other parent-child relationship. This is the parent math, then we have the SQRT child. You can't, this square root is depending on the math. You can't just have this square root without having this first. So that's the relationship. It is possible to have this SQRT can also have many modules inside of it. So we're talking about generating a random number. This random is a package in Python. Then to check the modules we have, just with dir is like directory random. These are the different modules we have in. These are different modules we have. So this is one of the tasks we did. Okay, this is just, so the task is just to create a pin that's a code that's required, that asks for a pin from users. Then if the password is correct, it will tell you access granted, welcome to First Bank. Otherwise, if you try more than 3 times, it will tell you you have entered wrong pin for 3 consecutive times. Please contact your financial institution to reset your pin. That's what we did in the 5th class. Then we have the last one, which is the one we did this Sunday. Any questions so far?
Please, if you can explain the assignment, the second assignment you gave last week.
Okay, we are going to talk about it. Let me try to finish this. So the last thing we did after function, like it is possible to have a nested, like we have a nested list, which is a list inside another list. It is also possible to have a nested dictionary. This is a nested dictionary. This is a dictionary. This dictionary for student 1. This student 1 is a dictionary that has the details of the student. Then we have students 2, another dictionary, details for another student. So that's nested dictionary. Then the last time we talked about Python in function in Python, the essence of using function. Then we talk about parameters. As you use function in order to make your code reusable, so that you use it next time. Then we talk about argument and parameter. The one you put in the parentheses when you are declaring the function is known as parameter. And it's not necessary that you have a function with parameter. You can have a function without any parameter. For example, this print statement is a function. By default, it takes in it gives you anything you put inside of it. Then we have many other default functions, like built-in functions, like the sum function. Sum function is going to take in a list of integers, a list of values, and give you the sum of everything together. So when you declare a function and you include parameter, when you are calling the function, you must make sure you put in the parameters as well. But at this instance, they are not known as parameter, they are known as arguments here at this stage. And one thing is, you have 3 parameters, you must have 3 arguments when calling your function. This is a function that prints the sum of anything you have in the like the parameters. We have add up 2, 3, 6, then it gives us the sum of the numbers. Then there's a difference between return statement and print function. If you use print function, you are just going to see the output like this. But if you want to apply it with some other things, you need to make use of return statement. For example, when we did this, we tried this with print and we commented out this return. When we tried to do 3 plus add up 435, it gave an error. So it's most efficient to use the return statement so that you can reuse it some other time. So, okay, this is a weight converter. We define the function to convert weight from, I think, from kilogram to gram. Then the function will ask user to input their weight in kilogram. Then to convert it to gram, we have to multiply it by 1,000. So this is, what is your weight? The person entered 34.6, and then we have the weight in gram as 34,600. 34,600. Do you have any questions so far? Hello.
No question.
Okay, I think I have solution to task 1 on my GitHub. So this is the task 1. These are I think the questions are 20 from the beginning to the end. If you have, like, you are not clear about anything here, just let us know. So the first question is to write a program that prints hello world, and we have hello world here. Then the second one, assign 6 to a variable name A. That's when you should name your variable A, then put 6, then check the data type. This type A is integer. Then assign 10 to a variable B. We have B10, then 10. Then the fourth question, add A and B. The A and B we've declared before, add them together, which is A plus B, we have 16. Then what is A raised to power of B? You use raised to power. You denote raised to power with this, the 2 asterisks. So that's 60 something something something. Then you are asked to convert A to string. That's string casting. Yeah, you have to cast A into string. This is A. A is an integer here, so we need to cast it into a string. We have 6, and we can see that it's a string because we have it in quotes, in quotation. So another one, the output of this is the floor division. Then this is the remainder. Remainder, if you divide 78 by 2, the remainder is 0. Then assign the word red to a variable name color. The color is red. Then we confirm the data type as string. Then we change the variable a to float and name it AA. So the a is float a, the previous a we had initially. Then we name it AA. Then we check the type of AA. It's giving us float here. Then write a single line comment. This is a single line comment. It starts with this hash. This. So assign Nigeria to a variable country. That means the variable name will be country, then the value will be Nigeria. Then print out the first, the third, and the last element of the variable. To print the first element, the index starts from 0. That means you are printing 0. The third element, you use index 2. And there are many other ways. If you are using negative index, you can use -7. But this one, you can use -5. To print country, the last element, you can use negative index -1, and you can use 7 as well. So you are with this one, slice country by showing just the third to the last element. This is 1, 2, 3. This is what we need from the third to the last element. The index for n is 0. The index for I is 1. Then you put 3 because we need the third element. So you put the index for the third element is 2. So you write from 2. By default, if you don't include any other number after the colon, it takes in every other thing we have from the till the last element. And another way to do it is to use negative indexing from -5. This is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So you can use this -5. Another thing you can do is to put from 2 to 7. So it will give you every other thing as well. So this, to convert it to upper, lower, and title, this is how to do that. Country.lower, country.upper, country.title. Then you count the number of A we have in the variable. So it's just 1. Then the number of I, we have 2I. Then this is multiple assignment. You assign more than one variable on a single line. So this is how to write a multi-line comment. You write it on multiple lines. It can be 2 and above. The same thing for multiple string. Multiple comment, multiple string, the two of them are the same. The only difference is you don't name a comment. You don't, but you can name it. You can name your string if you like, and you can leave it as it is without naming it. That's the difference. But the syntax is the same. So this one is to convert back to integer. It's not possible because the bag is in string. That's not possible. Do you have any question based on what I just explained on? I hope I'm not too fast. Anyone with me?
Well, with you.
Any question based on this? Do you have question?
No, as for me, I don't have any question.
None.
No question.
As for me, no.
Okay.
Sorry, I think in the next class I might actually be coming with one question. I'm so sorry. This is my first time of being here, and I think I have just a very short ideas of all of this class, all of this explanation. So I think in our next class I might be coming with bundles of questions, please. And please, I would like to see all the questions you posted earlier, as in the question regarding this your explanation.
All of them are on this GitHub repository. The link is also on our WhatsApp chat, the group description. The link to the repository is there.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay,
so this is the second task. You are asked to write a program that asks a student for their scores and grades, and grade them according to the input score. So the score should print A from 70 to 100, B from 60 to 69, C from 50 to 59, D from 45 to 49. This is the grade we use in OAU actually. If the score is between 40 and 44, then 39, anything less than, like from 0 to 39, even -1, -2. So let me try to run the code. So but the beginning you start with if statements. Then you define your condition. This is the first condition: the score greater than or equals to 70. And this and is very, very compulsory. And it means you are restricting the score to be between 70 and 100. So that's that about that. Then you is going to print grade. This is what I was saying, that you can use as many else if as you need. You can use as many of them as you want. They must be in between the if and the else. Else must always be the last. So if the score is between 60 and 69, print B. Then 50 and 59, print C, and so on. Let me try and run the code now. 89. A. 32. F. Then 53. C. Actually, there is no one way to this particular solution. What matters is the end result. The end result, try it yourself. Make sure you enter, like, make sure you try different values and you have the normal, the expected outcomes. So that's what matters. There are a lot of ways you can write this code. Just make sure that you get the final output. That's what matters. Do you have any question about the code?
Hello, please, I can't hear anything, sir.
Do you have any question about the code? Is it clear? Is it clear enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's clear for me.
And this is based on the assumption that the user is going to enter a number data type, Otherwise, if I enter bag, I mean, let me not say problem, but there will be an error. You can see the error. So I said something when you get error in Python, don't read all these things you have from this place to this place. Don't read it. Just go to the last line. Value error. Invalid literal for integer with base 10. It means that we cannot convert this WCAJS that I entered. It cannot be converted into integer. So the code is based on the assumption that only all the students, they will be entering a number data type, not string data type. And another way to catch that, we call it try and what's the name? Like, there is a way you catch the error. Let's try it. You use try, then you paste your code. Then you tell the code that if there is any exception. Indexing is very, very important. You make sure everything you have on that try, you make sure they are indented under it. Just press one, select everything and press tab. You can see the indentation. It means that everything we have from this place, from score down here, all of them, they are depending on the try. Then you put your except. It's capital except or small except. It should be small. Okay, except, then print invalid. Invalid. So this one, with this now, we try to catch any student that is trying to put. Okay, we can. This one, we can change this one now. That, okay, we enter a numerical value. So enter numerical value between, we can. This one is not necessary, it's not necessary to be greater than 0. -1 is actually F. -100 is F. So you need to change this to something like, just remove this. You just remove everything we have here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. For example, if I use -100 here, so the error is I need to put print else. Enter American value between 1. Okay, I have single quotes here, then I have double. I need to make it the same. Then I put single. So I'm entering minus 100. We can see that it is not recognizing it. Can we see that? Hello.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, yes.
So we
Yeah.
don't need to put this greater than 0. It can be less than 0 too. So anything less than 39 will be F. If you like, enter minus 1 million. You still score F. So let me change it here. Let's me run the code again with that minus 100. You can see that it's F now.
Yeah.
Minus 1 million. Still F. Oh. Enter numeric value between. Oh, I did not put minus. Minus 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can see that the grade is still F. So that's why I want to remove this. That's why I removed it. So this try and except is to catch any student that enters something that is not number data type. For example, someone entering a bag instead of his score. So let's try to run the code. I need to change this. So I will type minus 100 F. Then I will type something greater than 100. I want this one to be printed. Enter a numerical value. It won't be between 1 and 100. Now, if you like, enter minus 1 million. Enter a numerical value less than or equals to 100. Minus 1 million. So it's still F. Then I will enter. You can see this now, invalid. That means we've entered the wrong data type, invalid. Please enter a number data. So that's how we catch the wrong inputs. Then for the second one, still have people in the lobby. For the second one is to print a food menu, like you have. Where's my list self? Okay. The first thing by like normal, you are supposed to you are supposed to declare to define your list first. So I should have my list on top. Then I have beans, rice, couscous, pizza, salad, coffee, oatmeal. Then welcome to something kitchen. What would you like to have or to eat? Anything. So because my list is in lowercase, we can see that each food item is in lowercase. So I need to convert anything the user is giving me. I need to convert it to lower. That's the essence of this line. Choice.lower. Then after that, I will check if food choice is in food list. Print, you've made a good choice. Your order will be ready soon. Otherwise, print, sorry, we do not have this for now. We hope to get you covered next time. So let me run this. Then I put rice. I see that the order is available. Then I can write rice in uppercase as well. You can see that the order is still available. Another thing I can do, I can mix it, like swap the case. How do I see it? See that it's still available. So there is one, like I've seen some of the submission from you people. Let me try to duplicate the list. So for example, let's say pounded yam. Then we need a space in between. Or we have another one, jollof rice. How do we write jollof? Is it correct? So we might encounter error when we try to run this. Who can tell me how to deal with this? Like for instance now, normal if we type pounded yam with space, and then space, then yam, we have it in the list. We can see that. But what if the user just enter everything together? And then yam, everything together. What's going to happen? Any idea? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Any idea what's going to happen if I run it this way without the space?
I think it's still going to work because I think it's supposed to work because the space is just like, no, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure.
Any other person?
I'm thinking it will bring error.
Okay. Let's just run it. So it's telling us that the food is not available, whereas we have it here. So it means that everything counts here, even the white space counts. This is what we call white space. The space between this D and Y is the white space. It counts. So we should find a way to deal with that. I think one thing we can do is to split. But that might be beyond the scope of the class. It might be somehow complex for us for now. But when we get to the kind of situation like this, we'll always find a solution around it. So this is the second task we have. And then the third one is to declare. Let me check the third assignment. Do I have the solution yet? I don't think so. Task 2. So this is the second task we have. Let me try and upload this to GitHub now. So we have the task. Second task is also available on GitHub now. The solution to it is available just like the first one. The solution to task 2 is available now. So we have our task 3. The third task is to write a program. Okay, we have 2 programs actually. The first one, to write a program that generates a random number between 1 and 100. The program asks user to guess the random number. Then lets the user know if the guess is greater or equals to, if the is greater than the guess number or not, then adjust so that if it is greater, you try to reduce the number you are entering. Then if it is lesser, you try to increase it. So that's one. And an optional code you can include is, okay, let's say you try it for the first time, you guess it correctly, maybe after 10th attempts, you can put it, okay, you guess right, you guess the random number after 3 attempts, you can put it, but that one is not compulsory. Then another thing to do is a BMI converter. BMI, it simply means body mass index. Yes, that's 3. So for this one now, I will shift the deadline to next week Friday, yeah, before our next class Friday. So what you can do now is to import random. I'm not doing it, I just want to give it import random. Then you can say number equals to random. I talked about random that it is possible to have a package and a module having the same name. For example, you can have for example, you can have the name of the father Muhammad, then the name of the son to Muhammad. So it will be Muhammad Senior, Muhammad Junior. That's like this random as well. We have random that's random. This random is like the parent, then the package. Inside it, we have another package. Inside the package, we have a module called random. I don't know if I have not closed the tab yet. Here we checked the. I think we closed it already. That should be lesson what's lesson 6 or 5. 6 or 5, 6 or 5, 6 or 5, 6. Oh, it's 5. So this is math package. Then we have the random package. This is the name of the package, random. These are the modules we have inside the package. If you check very well, you see that there's also a module named random inside the package random. So that's exactly what we are doing here. So the random by it just generates a random number. This random will generate, let me remove the name for now. It's going to generate a random real number, which is a float number. So we have it. If I run it again, I'm going to get different value. Again, I'm going to get different value. So we don't need a random real number. We need a random integer. So that will be rand int. So this will generate a random integer for us. Rand int. So that is not correct. So this will generate a random integer. Oh, we need to specify at least this rand int is a function that takes in at least one argument, and that will be, we have the starting point, the stopping point, and the number we need. For example, if I put 8, so it takes in two arguments by default. This is like a range. I need a random integer between 2 and 8. And mind you, these two will be included, and the 8 also will be included, which means that sometime when I run the code, I might get 2 and I might also get 8, but the number will always be between 2 and 8. You can see that random number, it will just be changing all the time. So what we need now is from 1 to 100. 1 to 100. That's 40. Another time 9. Another time 93. So I will name it my number. Then I can just use a statement, y statement, y. Then I'll put guess. Guess equals to int inputs. And what is your guess? So y guess is not equals to number. Then I said do this, print no. Then if guess is greater than number, tell the person that print guess is greater. I almost finished the concept. It's greater than the number. Try again. So otherwise, this is a line of code. Then I'm going to duplicate it. If guess is this one is greater, then if it is lesser, print guess is lesser than the. Then you have the final. I'm doing this. I almost finished this. You have the final one, else, which will be else. Print You guessed right. This is like 70% of what you are asked to do. What remains is just for you to look critically into it and make some adjustments. So if the person, I don't want to run the code now. If the person,
But my question, I have a question, sorry.
what's the question?
Instead of using while and if, why not using if and else, the one you explained already? If we use if and else, is it going to work? No, sorry.
Yes, it can work. It can work, but there is something between while by default while statement will continue running until condition is false. So the reason why I use this while is because we are going to be trying several times, because we are not going to get just one, and we don't. Me myself, although I'm the one that defined the variable, I don't know what the random number is. So that's why I use the while. While means if the condition is not true, this thing will keep happening. Then I need to be updating. I can have something. I should have something like the guess will now equals to my new guess now. Print no. Then
So
I should
while, wait, I'm coming. The while and if, they almost have the same function, but the if only print at once, while print multiple times.
yes. Why if we check the condition one time,
One
but
time.
while we keep iterating over the condition and be checking. Why this is not true, all these things will be running.
Okay,
Like
then
continue to run until you get the correct answer. That's the essence of the while loop, why we have here. Is we
okay.
keep asking you to try again until you get the correct answer.
Then what
That's the
if,
essence of the while loop.
okay, then what if we use the while as it is, then but instead of this if we put elif?
For you to use elif, you must have if first.
So we can use if for the first one, then the subsequent one, if we use elif, it will work.
Yeah, this is a mistake actually. We should use else.
No,
So
elif.
by default, we are dealing with one condition. Use if it is two, if and else. If it is more than two, that's when you put elif.
And but this one is more than two now. There is two else here. We have one and the
No,
same.
no. This let me collapse this. This else is working with this while loop. Is if this thing is not happening, then what we have here will be happening. Though if you can see the indentation, you will see that they are on the same line. It is on the same line with else. And if you see this indentation to this if and else, they are on the same line. So
No.
it makes these two, they are separate. Then the two at the at far back, they are also separate from the other.
I understand.
So this is like 70% of what you're asked to do. Just look into it critically and try to make some adjustments. We are going to discuss it. The deadline will be Friday for the submission. If you are not getting it, you can be sending your code to the group. The second one is a bit simple, just like this. What's the day 6? Just like what we did here. Just like the weight converter we have here. The function we ask for the weight, then it will return weight multiplied by 1000. That means we are converting it to gram. Then you can just check BMI. BMI is body mass index. Then we can check for the calculation BMI formula. So this is it. This is the formula for BMI. The weight in kilogram multiplied by the meter, the length, the height in meter square. So you can just define a function, call it blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Then I said it's not necessary, like no need to include any parameter. The reason why I wrote this is because since you will be defining your weight and height, wait, don't mind my spelling, equals to then height equals to then return. I almost finished this too. Return, just put what you have in your formula, just put it. Just put it. I don't know. This one you can ask the user inputs. You try to convert it to, let's say, floats. Floats inputs, then enter your weights. Same thing here. It's same thing here. Enter your height. So anything you get, you say, okay, let me just do it. Weights. What's the formula? Kilogram meter square. So we have weights divided by height, then multiply by 2. That's all. I hope this is clear now. Hello? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll be expecting the submission by Friday. Deadline is 11:59 p.m. on Friday. That's next week Friday. Should we have a break tomorrow, or we should have a class? Continue with our class. I actually prepared the lesson for today's class, but I just thought that we should try to go over
Let's have a break tomorrow then.
what we've done in the past.
Let's have a break tomorrow, then we'll start afresh by next week.
Okay, we are starting next Saturday.
Since we finished the basic what's it called?
Python fundamentals.
Python fundamentals. Or probably if there's anyone that needs an explanation, we can do it tomorrow about the fundamentals.
So this is what we'll be starting with. I'm going to. There are a lot of benefit. There are a lot of things you can do with this collab. You can try to. I will restore the previous version I have before I wrote the. This is March 8th. I'm going to restore this.
I think I need to sleep now. Can I just...
All right. I'm sorry for the class. We spent more than 1 hour already. So this is the plan for the next, like what we are doing next. This is NumPy. This is what you are supposed to do today. Then we have the pandas. So this will be the end of the class. If you still have any question, you can drop it in the group or send me a message.
All right, thank you.
Do you want to fill attendance tonight?
Should we?
Do we want to? Let's do it.
Frankly, I'm too sleepy to just go and fill the attendance.
Don't worry, it will be available till Sunday night.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, bye-bye.
Okay, good night.
Yeah, bye. Thank you. Good night.
Bye.